Alright, what's up guys? We're back working on the 5.0. Today we're going to be trying to get the water pump on. I got to paint it, bolt it up. So we got the front timing cover on. It's not fully on there yet. I just kind of have it temped on there. So what I'm going to do is mock up the water pump, make sure it's good to go, and then paint it this Ford gray to match. And then we should be able to get it fully bolted on. And then after that, I'll probably be trying to install the harmonic balancer right here. So this is the water pump that I ordered from O'Reilly's. So we will go ahead, get it unboxed. It was a lot harder to do with a camera in your hand, but I did it. Alright, so there's the water pump that we're going to be using. It's just a stock replacement water pump, not high volume or anything like that, so should be good to go. And if I'm not mistaken, should just mount up kind of like that. So let me set you guys up and we'll temp this guy on here, make sure I got all the bolts and everything for it, and then we'll get it painted. All right, let's do it. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is take off this timing cover and just go through and make sure all the bolt holes are cleaned out with a thread chaser. So I will go ahead and start to remove that. This right here is my thread chaser kit. You can just run them through the bolt holes and just clean out the threads, and that way your bolts thread in nice and easily. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Alright, so these last three bolts, my power steering pump bracket actually bolts to those. I'm not sure if you guys can see those. Yeah, there we go. So these three right here, my power steering pump bracket will bolt to those. I got a stud here. This is for my alternator bracket, rather my alternator adjustment. And then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total. So that's what it looks like. We'll go ahead and get it painted now. So now we just want to get this thing taped off. Anything that we don't want paint on. Not going for pretty here, just going for taped. This right here is just a rubber bushing. I'm going to tape it off. It actually gets removed, but we'll go ahead and tape it anyway. Tape off this bearing. Don't get any paint on it. Should be good. Should be it. Let's go set it up and get it painted. Keep my paint up here. Set you guys down right here real quick. All right, one coat. So we're using this Duplicolor engine enamel with ceramic. I haven't tested this stuff out yet. I've heard good stuff about it. That's what I painted the whole engine with, so we'll see how it comes out. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and clean up all the gasket surfaces and get ready to mount this timing chain cover and water pump. So first up, we took the timing chain cover off of the engine. Got over here on my bench, And I'm just using a little bit of a brake parts cleaner right there and a blue rag, and I just spray down the rag and wipe down the gasket surface. And I already sprayed this rag down, I already wiped down that surface. So now we'll come over to the engine and we'll just wipe this down, make sure we get all the oil and any greases from our hands, stuff like that, off of the gasket surface. That way we get a nice proper seal, and hopefully no leaks. So get this all wiped down, and then what we'll do is we'll apply a thin layer of silicone around all this, and we will apply a thin layer of silicone around this, put that gasket on. We will then put it on the engine. We'll do the same to this, just a thin layer of silicone around the water jackets, which are these right here. This is where your inlet and outlet are for your water pump. This is the back side of it. There's the front side. So, which, like I said, just do a thin layer of gasket sealant on both sides, and then we'll bolt it all together. And then, yeah, go from there. Next step after that will be the balancer. So let's go ahead and make sure all this is clean, and we'll go ahead and get started. So for this, I'm just going to use a little bit of this Permatex Ultra Gray. Some people would recommend the stuff that's good for water pumps. Permatex actually makes a specific sealant for water pumps and thermostat housings, but I've used this in the past and I've always had good results, no leaks. Like I said, we'll just do a thin layer around this. We'll put the gasket on there, thin layer on the engine, and we'll get it bolted up. So right now we'll just get all these bolts finger tight, and then we'll come back around and torque them to spec. Get them snug, and you got the dowels on here so this thing doesn't move, so that'll be nice and centered, so we don't have to worry about centering the timing cover for the balancer. So now we'll move over to the water pump. Again, I just want to make sure to get these all in finger tight. Make sure I don't cross thread anything. And we'll go down and torque everything down to spec after we let that gasket maker set up for about an hour, is what it says on the package. So now that we got that all snugged up, let's see, next on the list is going to be the balancer. So for the balancer, I have I rented an install tool. Let's see. Ooh, a little loose, sorry guys. So I rented this install tool from O'Reilly's. It's about $45. I haven't used this yet, so it's going to be a little bit of a learning process for me. But should be able to figure it out. So we got the EverTough harmonic balancer install 67006 as a part number if you want to go rent it. Again, I'm not sure if this one's going to work. I haven't used it yet. Let's just see if that threads into the crank. And it doesn't. It's much too big. Alright, I'm gonna set you guys down for a minute and I'm gonna see if I can figure this guy out. So the way it looks like this works is you have this this bolt that slides through this guy. So it just slides on into here, just like that. And it tightens into this, so you find the correct fitting to go into your crank. That goes into here, like so. And then you slide this in, and then you tighten that down. And then you got this bearing that will ride on the crank, and this big nut that you will turn to get the balancer pressed on. So, like I said, we're gonna give this a shot, see what happens. All right, so first thing, I want to go ahead and lube up this front main seal. That way we don't cause any damage going in. So on this crank pulley you have a keyway. I don't know if you guys can see that. You got a keyway. And on the crank right now I have number 1 at top dead center. The keyway is facing up. So you want to make sure that you install this balancer with the keyway. So we'll go ahead and try and slide it on there. Just like that. Then I'm going to try and... I think we should just be able to install this. So this is going to go into the crank. Now I got to run this guy all the way in. Which I should have. Deep enough. Uh-oh. Alright, we're going to try the old block of wood and the mallet method. So I was trying to, got the bearing in there behind the washer. I'll show you guys after I get this, try to get this tightened up. Seems to be working pretty well. So yeah, all I did was I took this this bearing, and what that did was it put that on there, and it allowed this washer to spin as I was tightening the bolt, which drew the balancer, and it's all the way bottomed out. So now we'll torque that down to spec here in a minute. But as of right now, let me get my screen to turn on. It's okay. This is pretty much what it looks like. Like I said, we got to let that gasket sealer seal for about an hour. It's only been about 15 minutes or so. So we'll let that set up, and then we'll come back and we'll torque all these bolts. All right, so the torque spec on the crank bolt is going to be 70 to 90 inch-pounds, or excuse me, 70 to 90 foot-pounds. So I have my torque wrench set to 80, right in the middle. And we are going to go ahead and get this torqued. There we go. The torque spec on all the front cover and water pump bolts is going to be 12 to 15 foot-pounds. So I got my torque wrench set at 13. And we'll just go around and torque all these. Slowly tightening them. And it has been an hour since I applied all this stuff, so there we go. Okay, I mean, torque to spec. That pretty much does it for the front of the motor for now. I still got to bolt on my pulley, my front pulley, which is going to be this guy. And then we'll flip the motor over, and next up will be the oil pan. Alright guys, just finishing up editing this video right now, and realized I forgot to film an outro, so here we go. We're done with the front of the motor. Next up we got the heads coming back from the machine shop, and those will be going on, and then finishing up the top of the motor and then putting it in the car. So thanks for stopping by, and we'll catch you on the next one.